Hi, everybody. I'm Christina, and I'm back with Monday's Light Codes messages. Today was really interesting. And I've had to do a little bit of research on what I saw because I'm not that familiar with it. Many years ago, like 20 years ago or something, I used to have a lot of extraterrestrial experiences. And I don't want to go into that at the moment, but what I saw today was extraterrestrial. Now, the interesting thing is that there's always a series of experiences that take place each week before I run the light codes. And it's always relevant to what's coming up with us for the energies and the frequencies that are being offered to us. Now, I have been doing some healings where I have actually seen some extraterrestrial or galactic kind of things coming through, but I didn't take a whole lot of notice really about what was going on. It was just like, oh yeah, okay, I see that kind of stuff now and again, and I didn't think too much of it. But today's light codes brought it through again. So it's the end of the year, last day of the year. We're closing doors. We are, getting ready to open new doors to move forward into 2025. And 2025 is kind of like a bit of an endings year, tidying things up. But January 2025 is new beginnings. So there's a lot going to come forward for us for 2025, and it depends how you look at the numerology and how you see those energies. So I'm not going to go into that now, but the first vision that I had today was of a winding bridge, like a path, but it was a bridge. It was a narrow path, and it was a bridge, and the rails of the bridge were filled with light, this beautiful yellow light. But what I could see in the distance was where the bridge was leading to, because it was a long path. And what I could see was a tunnel, an arched tunnel, and it was dark inside the tunnel, so I couldn't see what was in there. But my feeling around the message, as though that vision came through, was that we should remember that we are on a bridge of light, and no matter what darkness we may encounter, through sad experiences or whatever experiences that you could say are, make you feel a little bit dark or feel like you are going into a dark tunnel, maybe a dark night of the soul or something, that to always remember that you are walking on the bridge of light, and that bridge goes through the dark tunnel with you, and you are actually on that bridge of light as we move forward. Now, that vision stayed for quite some time, as visions tend to do with me while they're trying to make sure that I get the message right. Let's hope I got the message right. But what I saw after that, and again, this vision stayed for a long time as well, was a being walking towards me, and they were carrying like a tray, and on the tray were all sorts of tools and things. And at first I thought, alien abduction kind of thing, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay with it. So stayed with it, and it whatever stayed for a long time, and it was almost like an offering of these tools. And when I recognized that it was an offering of these tools rather than, they're going to chop me up or something, it was an offering of these tools of healing, that this is about our healing gifts and being given greater degrees or greater abilities, and maybe new abilities to come forth. Now, I had maybe 12 months ago, maybe 6 months or so ago, I did have some messages in relation to my own path that my abilities in relation to the galactic side of things would be opening up again. And because I did tend to close them down because I was following another direction, I tend to get a lot of things come to me, and you have to make a choice which direction you're going to go. So I made some other choices of the direction that I wanted to focus on, and to leave that for a later time. It appears that is starting to come in, and probably because there is a need for it at this time. And so they were offering us these tools of healing. And when I got that message and realized, because it's that vision stayed for a long time as I just continued with the messages and the codes that were coming through, and I got that message, the vision changed, and I saw a lot of these beings. Now, I would have to say that they are I kind of thought they were ant beings, or the first being that I saw was probably more gray or zeta reticuli kind of a vision. And of course, I've always had a little bit of a negative feeling towards the grays, but they are not all negative. And then I realized that the message was coming through that I was actually being presented with presence of somebody from the Galactic Federation, because I could notice that this was inside a ship. And all of these beings were actually very busy. They were bending down. They were doing all sorts of things. Now, there's a lot of people needing help right now to be cleared. And anyway, at the end of the transmission, I did a little bit of research because, like I say, it's been a long time since I've shown any real interest in extraterrestrial kind of stuff. And I came across a few different sites, but I just wanted a brief over, And I came across this site, stellapax.com, and the author of this site's name is Judy Carroll, and she says that she's been working with the Greys and Zetas since childhood and sees them as family. She had a very brief description, and I wanted to share that. And she says there are around 30 different planetary cultures in the Zeta Reticuli star system, as well as Zeta-type beings living on planets outside of the system. There are human species that developed or evolved billions of years ago out of insectoid species. Now, that resonated with me because I thought, are these ant beings, and I had Googled and looked, the Hopi talk about these ant people and how they helped them through cataclysmic times. But whether they're the same ones or not, I don't know, but they were helpful. If they were very helpful to the Hopi. And so they evolved out of this insectoid species as opposed to Earth humans who have been developed out of a mammalian bipeds. So this is why the Zetas and Greys look so different. She says the Keban Zetas, Keban, were the original Greys, but there are also hybrid mammalian insectoid Zetas, such as the Assassinis, Essasanis, who are a combination of Zeta and Earth human genetics. I'm going to put the link to this site below so you can have a look yourself. And the hybrid Assassinis can take their place at any level of reticulan society, and they work as teachers, healers, ship pilots, and commanders. So I have seen these a few, and I do remember some experiences of my own, many in the early 2000s. The Zetas are totally egalitarian with no discrimination between cultures or genders. The Mantids or elders, I presume the Mantids would be the Mantis beings, and teachers to the Zetas, and are highly evolved souls. So today I really feel, because I do a lot of healing. Hey, it's my life. I'm every day of my life, I'm doing healing for people around the world. And there are a lot of people needing help right now. And there is a lot of interference taking place as well with different not so friendly beings. And people being, often people that are, this is my understanding, and I had this understanding for like over 20 years because I had a lot of experiences in my early awakening days. And so I needed to find out. But like I say, I've gone on a different path and not really placed a lot of awareness in that direction. But what I did notice was that people that are highly spiritually evolved, or, or even those that are starting to awaken, which we know that since 2020, a lot of people have started awakening. So in the early days, I realized that people that were early awakened or newly awakened, and were able to carry, a high level of consciousness and maybe had a specific, unique mission to take place in this life, were interesting to these different galactic beings, in particular the Greys or the Reticuli, the Zetas, because they would watch to see what you are doing. Now, some people will go into fear, that have had experiences. I'm not someone who goes into fear over that kind of thing. I just know that I'm protected, and I always make sure I'm protected by calling on the light of Christ, and so that nothing can come through to me that is negative. And I know if it's negative, and if it's negative, I get rid of it. I have a very strong ability to be able to feel negativity and to notice the difference of the language that comes through me, of what is suggesting that there is negativity around. So I'm able to do that. I have a very wide expanse of grasp on different light languages, and I'm able to speak many, many different light languages. But the main language that I speak is, from, the highest source, and very much to do with Sirius, and Sirius, Palladian, Orion, a lot of languages, but the mix is all Christ consciousness. So main language and keys and codes that come through me are all to do with awakening people and helping people to come to those higher degrees of themselves. And so awaken to those higher parts of themselves and bring those gifts back to planet Earth. So to me, it looks like 2025 is going to be a very interesting year, and that we may be having more contact with these galactic beings, and that our healing abilities, this particular transmission, is about giving us the tools, amplifying the tools that we have, the inner tools. We don't need, tools, the energetic tools that we need to help us to rise in consciousness and to help others to rise in consciousness. Now, it looks like it's possible. I can't say for sure, but because, I never know what's going to come through each week, but it's possible that there could be a theme heading forward for us in this way. And now I teach healing and ascension. And if you would like to do work with me, I'll also put the links below. You can come and retreat with me in Egypt. And actually, I have, if you're interested, to contact me. I have some berths available on Adahabaya from the 25th of January coming up, and a very rare opportunity for this to be just so quickly like this. It was offered to me only yesterday. So if you're interested if you're coming, please contact with me and I can get that happening for you, and we can do some healing work on board the Dahabaya sailing the Nile. I do have another retreat in April, and also one in March if you want to contact me. The one in March is not my program, but I am involved in it, so you can contact me with that one as well. So please contact me for all of this work, special healing work. And if you're having any interference at all, I do have the ability to be able to decode implants and remove the energetic implants and deprogram those, that any negative interference that you have. So I am able to do that. And I also am a decoder and an encoder, and able to help you rise up and to be fully encoded into the powerful being that you are. So please contact me on the links below, and I will see you next week in 2025.